Grand Rising Soul Fam. Happy Tuesday. Happy Mars Day. So today we have the sun in Pisces. Oh, no, wait, no, I keep saying that. We have the sun in Virgo. We have the moon in Pisces. I am very feeling the Pisces energy today. We have the lunar eclipse tonight around 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. And this may mean that we've got sudden awakenings. Topography has joined. Welcome, welcome. So I'm gonna give it a minute and see who wants to join, and I'm gonna pull an oracle card from the Tao. But first one I wanna feel into who's here. And from knowing who's here, we can tap into the collective energy, which is to tap into the Tao, tap into the medicine of the moment. Right now we have the sun in Virgo, we have the moon in Pisces, we've got the lunar eclipse tonight. So as I was just beginning to say, this might mean that we have a sudden awakening, a sudden breakthrough, a sudden illuminated thought. Bring the candle down here. Who is that? All right, so let's pull in a message. Speak through me, to me, show me how, show me now. What do we need to know now? Hi, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're up to pull a tarot message. Y'all are just in time. We are gonna pull through the message that we need to know now. What would help us as we have this lunar eclipse tonight in Pisces? The energy may be feeling very dreamy. You know, I've been feeling very dreamy, but Virgo is also like get shit done. So we got the Virgo dreaminess, and then we also have the Pisces, or we have the Virgo steadfastness, perseverance, and then the moon in Pisces. So, all right, let's see. What card wants to jump out today? Today, this is from Ma Deva Padma's deck, the Oracle. What do we all need to know here? Everybody that's joined today, what do we need to know? Dun, 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 dun. Number 29, the Abyssmal. Danger, insecurity, overwhelm, unpredictability, hazardous conditions, dark emotions, facing fear, and courage. The Abyssmal. In the Gene Keys, this would be half-heartedness. This would be the gift of commitment in the city of devotion. So even when I keep calling the sun in Pisces today, because it's not, it's in Virgo. Virgo is the devotional one. So she's like, all right, we're gonna make sure you know that we're about devotion right now. So we're gonna bring in 29. So right now, what are you devoted to? Are you devoted to being in your victim consciousness? Life is happening to me. Everything is so hard. I manipulate life as this most fear-mongering way, and then everything that's attracted to you is fear. Or you break free from that and you're the creator with life. You live life as your most artistic adventure, and then you emulate more experiences where you're co-creating through life, where life becomes an adventure. So right now, this is what we're all collectively going through. With everything going out, can we still remember that we're the co-creators, that we're not the victims, that life is not happening to us, it's happening through us? All right, so here's a message for the collective today. The Abyssmal. Y'all picked this card, so this is for you. The Abyssmal represents danger. No matter what direction you turn, there seems to be some difficulty, and it's often too dark to make out just what the difficulty is. Matters are made worse by a persistently increasing deluge of problems that result in your belief that life is unfairly dumping on you. It can feel like a buildup, like being pummeled by an unending torrent with no let-up in sight. There's nothing abstract about the danger. No, it's not just a drama or imagination, but the very nature of this time is that you'll feel uncommonly uncertain about how to deal with whatever it is. So all the right ingredients are in place to generate fear, confusion, and panic. Every 4 years we have an election year. Guess what that stirs up? Ooh, a whole lot of panic. If you subscribe to that matrix. But whatever circumstances have come together to contribute to the current situation, it is of critical importance not to let your emotions take over. Panic has a way of feeding more panic. Confusion has a way of creating more confusion. And all this together can create a vortex that throws you right away from the very center where you need to be standing in order to cope with the situation at hand. So right now, we've got the moon in a water sign. This means we're bringing up the emotional realm. This means we might be nostalgic. We might be thinking about old things that happened in our childhood, old ways of relating to our caregivers, to our family members, to our siblings. Let's remember that truth is not universal. What one person experienced as truth does not make it true for everybody else. This is why there can be so much family dysfunction, because we all grew up in the same family, but we were all receiving nurturing from different caregivers. Different siblings experience different parents because we experience them at different times of the day, in different emotional states, in different ways that we related to them. So it creates a very different experience, which is why, your sibling may have a story about something that happened in childhood and you're like, I don't remember it that way. No, you didn't, because you perceive reality a different way. That doesn't make it less truth for how they experienced reality. It just means that we have to exercise this ability to have compassion and empathy with recognizing that we don't have a universal truths. Everyone has their perspective and therefore their way of relating with the world around them. And then whatever story we create from there, we're going to embed that with our own truth, or we'll validate that story. We can even validate a lie into a belief system as thinking that it actually happened to us. This is how powerful our mind is. And so, in fact, times of danger always carry the potential to reveal the inner resources and courage that form the foundations of a life well and truly lived. It's courage that allows us to go beyond our learned and habitual moods of behavior and tap into the qualities that transcend the boundaries of the known and familiar. Thankfully, we don't often find ourselves in dangers that are not of our own making, but when they do arise, it's wise to remember the extraordinary opportunities that they may bring. It's time to assume the way of the warrior. Until the danger is past, devote yourself to dealing only with what is essential. Lunar eclipse tonight, if you don't have to have it on your schedule, don't have it. This is a great time to get into a meditative state, to get really quiet into stillness and silence and just rest. Giving into the temptation either to run away or to run blindly into battle without first being centered will only make matters worse and prolong the pain and confusion. Fear, when we're able to observe it dispassionately, is a powerful energy that can be used in the service of focus and centering. The skillful warrior is able to harness this energy to bring sharpness to all his senses and decisiveness to all his actions. Thus, he is able to respond in the moment to what each moment brings. If the way of the warrior seems too harsh for your sensibilities, then try the way of the cat. Aware and alert with a subtle certainty that's able to be utterly still and patient while waiting for the right moment and then springing to life with the perfect timing. But whatever the way, it is the crystal clarity of awareness that will enable you to cut through all the distractions and go straight to the core of the danger. Gradually, you'll come to see that whether the dangers are internal or external, the best course is to continually return to a place in the center that is not swayed by emotions or prejudices. By weighing all things in the balance, you can develop an impartial and open-minded attitude that will persevere through everything. So bottom line, there's 6 different ways that we may feel this energy right now. So let's go. Bottom line, number 1. It's possible that this particular encounter with danger might be a washout before it's even begun. Take a look to see what you've ignored, if you've ignored any signs leading up to the present situation that might have alerted you to what was coming. Sometimes the mind, when it has strong investments in its own desires, prefers numbness to being alert. If you find this is the case, it's not too late to take a distance and watch what's happening as a result, learning from it what you can. Line 2. The dramatic gesture is not always the most effective one. Sometimes the best way to surmount a danger is to take small, careful steps, one at a time. It might seem ponderous if you're the impatient type, but slow and deliberate progress is much more satisfying than banging your head against the wall, even if you could manage to do it with a panache. Line 3. Even when the fear is harnessed and the panic dispelled, there are times when the terrain ahead is still shrouded in a mist, not of your own making. If this is the case, best to trust and wait for the sun to come out and clear the air before proceeding. Again, you don't start projects when we have solar eclipse season or lunar eclipse season. This is when we kind of like put it on the back burner. You're like, what can I do to stay really grounded? This is the most important thing right now, is staying really grounded. So line 4. A good measure of self-observation during times of danger helps to bring about the inner clarity that's essential to deal with all the elements that are operating in the environment. Otherwise, you risk becoming distracted by subjective emotions, preconceived ideas, or concerns with how you appear to others. Hence, you fail to see the objective reality. Line 5. When you've been up to your neck in a flash flood without knowing how to swim and somehow mastered the panic and pulled yourself over onto the safety of a protruding rock, it's okay to congratulate yourself. It is not, however, a time to stand up on the rock with a megaphone and declare yourself master of the world. The water will recede soon, and you will have embarrassed yourself with the pretense. So smile at the temptation and move on. Top line. One of the mind's favorite activities is to set up a non-stop series of dramatic twists and turns in every effort to divert the energy away from turning in and taking responsibility for actions that have not been effective in dissolving our problems. Every step out of turmoil begins from within. If you haven't been there lately, it's time for a visit. Today, let's all take a visit to the within, to the inner galaxy, in the cosmos. So right now we've got the sun in Virgo season. So we're in the last little bit of Virgo season. We've got the moon. It's a full moon tonight. It's a full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces. And this is the time for us to really tap into the energetics of peace, of diplomacy. There's so much conflict happening around us. And when we feel conflict, whether it's internal or external, it shakes us up. And so invitation right now is to come back into center, is to feel the grounded nature, feeling the earth supporting you underneath your sit bones, feeling the air around you, purifying the air with your breath, feeling the connection with the water. Today we have a moon sign in water. This may mean that we've got a lot of emotions coming out, that we're purging a lot. This may mean match your environment. If you're purging a lot, dump yourself into the water. Get inside the water now, as within, so without. This can also happen in a bathtub. This can also happen just by crying and being with our emotional state. So if there's a lot of nostalgia, if there's a lot of things coming up from the past to be looked at, can you look at it lovingly? Can you recognize these things happen in their divine time? The teacher appears when the student is ready. So if a memory that you were suppressing for a long time has just been coming up to the surface, can you trust yourself to be with this memory? Recognizing that every time we go into a meditation or a meditative state, we can revisit an old memory with the version of us that we are now. And we can transmute that energy, because when we see, oh wow, that was a really hard time in our life, and that memory is triggered, we could walk into that memory being the version of us that we are now, supporting that other version that didn't have this person there before. This is time traveling. This is the boundless adventure of our timeless self. We go into these memories so that we can come back into the reminder that we are never alone. So go back and feel that inner child, whatever message is coming up. Be with that inner child, hug that inner child, listen to the messages of that inner child without having to blame, without having to shame, without having to create a story about it all. Invitation right now is to arise above the conflict, to find the peace within. As we find the peace within, we emulate the peace around us. Politics right now, this is a distraction from the universe on the Maya to get us really conflicted. In that conflicted state, we might feel more separate than together. That's the point of the conflicted state. So let's find diplomacy by recognizing the peace stems from within us and then is experienced around us. So sending you so much love. Thank you for joining me today. I love you. Namaste.